I was not a teacher, trainer, coach, had no background in this. With a pure intention of serving, I started. Every businessman in himself is a leader at some level because you are leading a community, you are leading your members, your employees. What I believe, Om, is everybody has a salesperson inside him. So all these dialogues, statements that we give are very carefully crafted, and there is a lot of NLP technique behind it. If the other person is shut shop in his head and is already pre-framed that I don't want to buy, these are bad people, they are marketers, they are salespeople, stop wasting your time on them.
Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Aum Janakiram, and this is the Killer Sales Engine podcast, where you're going to find out everything related to how you can really dominate in the sales industry as far as recruiting, training, and management is concerned. Of course, we're going to be sharing with you not only tips and tricks which I have accumulated over the years, but I'm going to be bringing on some very, very special guests that's going to be sharing with you their stories, what strategies have been working for them, and hopefully you're going to be learning a lot in this coming session. So the guest that I have over here, I'm very privileged. He's been a real mentor to me. He's been someone who has guided and really inspired me to make a lot of moves, which I never thought was possible. So this man here, Sandeep Bhansali, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Killer Sales Engine podcast with Aum Janakiram.
Hey Om, thank you so much for inviting me here, and you are very kind with your words. So thank you so much.
It's important that we are always learning from each other. And for those of you who don't know, Sandeep was one of our first clients for Exclusive Closer, where we were helping him with his sales team. And, we're very, very excited to have a good relationship even till date. So Sandeep, of course, this is not about me today. This is all about you. So I'd love for you to share your story with our audience. How did you get started? What really inspired you? And, where are we now?
My story is very simple, Om. I'll keep it very short. Till COVID happened, I was a very happy-go-lucky Sindhi businessman selling saris in Pune. During COVID, because businesses took a hit, that shook me up. And I thought that it's important to take your business online. Somebody recommended, why don't you learn digital marketing? So I bought an online course and started training myself in digital marketing. One incident happened where during my course, I saw a lot of migrant workers walking from south of India to north of India. They were like walking thousands of kilometers back home, and nobody was helping them out because it was COVID. Everybody was scared, and government didn't want people to come together. The kind of pain and suffering I saw in them, I thought, these guys should learn digital marketing actually, so that these guys can work from home. They don't need to leave their families, compromise on their life, and then, suffer like this. But then I thought, who will teach them? Because digital marketing is a very English kind of a subject taught in institutes and, higher MBA organizations and stuff. Then I thought, why don't I do it? So I formed an idea and I started teaching people digital marketing in Hindi for free.
Wow.
So that is how I got it my start. I was not a teacher, trainer, coach, had no background in this. With a pure intention of serving, I started. Later, I realized this is a big business and good money can be made here. So even today, I do help thousands of people free of cost. I teach them digital marketing. There's a recent gig I was doing on YouTube where for 21 days I taught them absolutely free. I called it Digital Bharat Abhiyan. Apart from that, I started developing my own courses, my own consulting. And today, by God's grace and my mentors' help, I'm able to have more than 30,000 paid students who've bought my courses. These are all business guys who've taken their businesses online. We have a lot of professionals who are generating a lot of leads with this knowledge. We have a lot of homemakers who are working from home. A lot of students who've now got into this career as well. It's been a joyride for me. Last 4.5 years, I've been doing this, made some decent amount of money also. So that makes me happy and fat.
I mean, it's a very noble cause, being able to bring digital marketing to India. I mean, especially taking Hindi as the main subject. And I do know that this is a really big boom for the students who you are working and helping. So thank you so much and congratulations for your service. So Sandeep, I mean, from Sari businessman to teaching digital marketing, that's a big shift, right? Going from a businessman to a teacher. So what really inspired you to teach? That's something not everyone has in them, right? They'd rather just make money in digital marketing as an agency doing services for others, but teaching as such, I know you said that you saw these immigrants and coming in, that's really good, but in your sense to be a teacher? Was there any story that comes back, like maybe back to your childhood or college days, that maybe you said, I'm going to be a teacher one day?
Okay. See, there was nothing specific that happened that would trigger this. But I later did realize that I was always a guy who's always been actively participating in all the extracurricular activities that happen at school. At Teachers Day, was always the teacher teaching some class. I would take participation in a lot of debates and a lot of elocution competitions. And I remember when I was in my 9th and 10th standard, that is 94, 95, HIV and AIDS had come up in India on a big scale, and there was a lot of awareness being created by government. So I would work as a peer educator, and I would take that knowledge in Hindi and Marathi to villages and tell people about it. So later I realized, oh, the roots were always there. And the shift from being a Sindhi Sari businessman to a teacher, I very firmly believe that every businessman is a teacher. Every businessman in himself is a leader at some level, because you are leading a community, you are leading your members, your employees. You're constantly training them, teaching them, building systems, and growing your business. So I think every entrepreneur has a teacher leader in him. It's just that you need to recognize and awaken and start training that side of yours. And it's been a very nice experience for me pivoting from saris into this education business. And why I did that is because I saw a very big gap, the gap between the buyer and the seller. So what I saw is, in my home, my wife, my mother, my bhabhi, everyone is getting an Amazon, Myntra or a Nykaa parcel almost every day. There is a delivery happening every day, almost every day. I know they're going to kill me for this, but I see deliveries coming every day, and this must be happening to an average Indian. Their families have started purchasing online, but has an average Indian started selling online? So I saw that big gap, that people are buying, but a very small number of bigger companies are selling. And this is the reason why I think more than 25,000 MSMEs shut their business after COVID, because these big corporations got into retail. Somebody like Reliance, who was doing petroleum earlier, is now doing retail. Zudio has come up in a big way. They are not only in malls, they've gone to tier 2, tier 3 cities. Even villages these days have malls coming up big time. And when these people land up into the smaller businessman's area, the smaller businessman cannot survive. And the prime reason for that is, we business guys are not upgrading ourselves. We are not learning. We've stopped, get new knowledge in. And that gap I wanted to fill. And that's how I started targeting business guys and started teaching them digital marketing.
Fantastic. And you found that real niche. I mean, there are a lot of people teaching digital marketing out there, but in Hindi specifically. And I also understand you also do in Marathi as well, if I'm not mistaken. Is that true?
So I used to do in Marathi, but now in Digital Azadi, I have Omkar Gaikwad, who's also my mentor, my partner in the company. And he takes care of the Marathi side. I take care of the Hindi side. Not that our English is bad.
Of course not.
We can communicate in English, but doing it in Hindi and Marathi and taking the, to the national language is out of choice.
That's awesome. Any plans for other languages down the lines?
I recently was in US for a Tony Robbins event, and I saw a lot of people walking up to me and say, hey, why don't you teach in English? We need this here. And it kind of inspired me to now start creating content in English as well. So even this podcast is actually a trial to check if I can express myself in English.
Come on. You speak English fantastically well. I mean, there's also a little bit of a tidbit you guys might not know, but Sandeep Bhansali used to be an actor as well. I remember being in his office and seeing this very handsome gentleman on the wall. And I was like, who's this guy? Hey, wait a minute. So tell me, acting was something you took into as well, right? That's something some people might not know, right?
Yeah. So it just started out of college, just like a hobby. It was year 2000, and everywhere they were having some Mr. Pune, Mrs. Pune competitions going on, Mr. Manium and stuff. I just landed up in one of the competitions. I won that. And that gave me a lot of advertisement gigs. Some brands used to call me for shoots and ram shows. And once college was done, I thought, let me try it out. It is one of those money-making niches where you don't need to invest anything. So that Sindhi brain got activated, that why don't I try one more side of income? And I happened to have a friend in Mumbai who now works for Sony Pictures. So I just landed up at his place, stayed for 3 or 4 months like a struggler. I struggled very short, 3-4 months, just started. Show after show, did a few films, did a lot of Marathi television as well. 9 years I was acting, did more than 50 shows. I've done a lot of Ekta shows, ZTV, Sony, Star, all those things. But at one point of time, I realized that that's not big money. Like I was getting some 1.5, 2 lakh rupees a month. But in Mumbai, that is not enough. Especially when you're getting married and you want to start a family, you want to buy a nice house in Oberoi's and drive a nice car, 7-digit car. So all that cannot happen in that money. So I pivoted, got back to Pune, and then got into my sari business.
All right. Awesome. But I think the point here is that, you're someone who puts himself out. You're someone who likes to present and, has a very good aura around you. I've seen you on stage many times, and the way that you command your audience with that real humility at the same time, that strength is absolutely admirable. So let's pivot into the sales part of things, right? Because end of the day, if you are someone who wants to get into a business, and this is what I believe, there has to be a level of salesmanship in a person to be able to sell that idea, to take it to audience, to be able to test it, and be able to bring out the best of what you want to serve people with. So with all of this, your background in saris, acting, teaching, all of this, has that played a role in what Digital Azadi has become now? If yes, like what have been the learnings that you have acquired over the years that maybe people who may have not had that kind of exposure in the past can use and develop now to better themselves as a presenter who's selling themselves before we get into the actual selling of products?
What I believe, Om, is everybody has a salesperson inside him. Like you are selling something or other all the time. You are selling yourself to people. You're selling yourself as a student, as a husband, as a son. Even in business, you are selling. So selling, like it's not a subject, it's an inbuilt thing in everyone. Now, some people hone that skill. Some people do actually work on that skill and get fantastic results. Some people don't. And then they are reserved. And even after having talent, potential, hardworking, and all those stuff, they are still not doing good in their lives because they're not able to present themselves. So marketing and sales go hand in hand. So marketing is letting yourself know, letting the market know about you, who you are, what you are giving. And then sales is the actual conversion where actually you negotiate, you set a deal, you get the money, the other person gets your product. It's an inbuilt thing, I believe. And coming from a Sindhi family, all our lunches, all our dinners, everything is around business. Small or big, we don't work for anyone. Usually, we are usually doing some or the other business talk in the house. So it comes very naturally to me. What helped me in Digital Azadi was when I was attending a program called TTT with Blair. Blair is an American trainer. And Blair said, selling is serving. So he just said it, didn't mean much. But during that training, when I was realizing that my knowledge is actually helping people create incomes, it's helping them live a better life. And immediately when I came back from TTT, I did my first offline event called Manthan in Pune. Some 200 people attended and they were touching my feet and hugging me and crying. Apart from the vanity part of it, the feel-good part of it, I could actually see that an impact is getting created in their lives.
Right.
So that line kept coming to me that selling is serving. If I can sell my courses, my products, my consultancy to somebody, I'm bettering their lives. And I understand that at the point of committing, they are going to have resistances. Everybody has. Even I have. So if I'm buying a course, I will have resistances. But isn't it the sellers, teachers, leaders' job to help the other person take a decision? And if you come from that point of view, then selling becomes very easy.
Right.
And it's just a process. It's a science. It's a technology. You learn it, you hone it, practice it. You become good at it, you make good money, and then you can do it at a bigger scale. So I am very fond of sales now. Earlier, it would be very difficult for me to ask somebody for 2,000, 5,000 rupees that, I come from a nice Sindhi family who was quite well-to-do, and we were already doing crores and crores of revenue in saris. Then selling courses for 2,000, 3,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees it did not come easy to me. But when Blair flipped my idea about selling, it just started working like magic.
That's amazing. So, I mean, you're referring to Blair Singer, right? Who's
Yes.
an amazing coach. I also had the pleasure of seeing him and meeting him. So, in terms of, like you said, selling is serving. And, when people see salespeople or when people are talking to them, understanding their problems, they're okay till that point where you finally talk about the money, right? And then that, like you said, there's that resistance, right? There is a like a techniques or there are frameworks, right, that that we follow in the coaching industry, right? That helps disarm those, you could say objections along the way, so that when the time does come for them to, make a decision, they are very open to doing so. So, I mean, could you share maybe just a few of those things that, help people kind of before you get to that ask? What are the few things that you like to kind of help people understand so that you can come out with as least resistance as possible?
So, see, I'm not putting it technically, but what I do is I understand human psychology at a little deeper level. There are some people who walk away from problems, and there are some people who walk towards solutions. So, when we are prepping them up for sales, we try to solve or satisfy both mentalities in the audience. So, we show them that by doing this or by buying my product or my service, you are going to walk away from these problems that are there in your life right now, and you are also going to walk towards a better future where all these benefits are going to be there. So all these dialogues, statements that we give are very carefully crafted, and there is a lot of NLP technique behind it. So it's a meta program where a conscious mind will always try to think of either walking away or walking towards, depending on what kind of person you are. Then there are also people who like to do things for pleasing others, whereas there are some people who will always do things only for themselves. They're quite selfish in that way. So when you are selling, we also run this meta program where we tell them that do it for yourself so that you become a better person, you live a better life, and you're looked at with love and respect. And also that you're doing it for your family, your society, where you'll be able to contribute to a lot of people, and there will be a general buzz about you when you start doing good. So again, there are some people who think only about themselves, and there are some people who do certain things because people want them to do it, because they are people pleasers. Now, what I'm saying might not make a lot of sense at this point of time, but if you think of it, when anyone is going to buy any product or service of yours, there are basically 3 questions in their mind. The first question is this product or is this service for me? Will I be able to benefit from it? Will I be able to do it? Is it for me? Second is, why this guy? Why should I buy from this guy? Like, what's his authority? Maybe there must be so many other people giving similar products or services. Then why this guy? And the third is, like, why now? I can do it later. I can think about it. I'll research and then come back and do this. So basically these 3 objections, if you can nullify in your pitch or when you are explaining about your products, you're already working on these objections while explaining your product itself. It kind of makes the transition from the KT, we say, the knowledge transfer that is happening, to the sales pitch. The transition will be very smooth. So in short, you need to craft a very nice sales pitch which starts from your product itself. There's a lot of seeding that happens. A lot of meta programs that you're running. These days, with the help of AI, you can get into a lot of hypnotic statements as well, a lot of hypnotic words that you use that kind of makes the other person subconsciously want your product. So instead of pushing it, you flip it over to a pull mechanism. And then when you go into your sales pitch, it becomes very smooth.
Awesome. That's really valuable. You said a few things like with regards to it is definitely about showing them the benefits, the credibility, authority, and then being able to show them what is the urgency, or make them realize what is the urgency. So that is something which is kind of done in a very subtle way during the KT, which is the knowledge transfer part as well. And then when you get into the pitch, that's kind of everything comes together. Am I right?
Yes.
That's fantastic. Now, Sandeep, there are people who, say, this is very manipulative. What is this? You guys are using like hypnotic or programming state, trying to program me. Like there are those skeptical people out there who who don't want to change. Maybe they're like, again, running away from the problem for whatever it might be. So I mean, how do you kind of deal with them? Are they even the audience to begin with, or is it worth trying to persuade them, or what do you feel?
I don't deal with them only. It's not their time yet.
Right.
See, I'll tell you something. You can sell to a person who has a requirement. And if the other person is shut shop in his head and is already pre-framed that I don't want to buy, these are bad people, they are marketers, they are salespeople, stop wasting your time on them. There are so many people in India. 150 crore Hindustani, go sell it to somebody else.
Yeah.
It's a little rude way to say it.
No, I mean,
but see, there are questions which are asked to me when I especially talk about NLP or these hypnotic statements and stuff. People say, isn't it manipulation? I say, yes, it is manipulation. Why have you made your sense of this word manipulation as a negative connotation.
Right.
So my father, my mother used to send me to school even if I didn't want to. And they used to tell me that you'll get a chocolate when you come back home. Did I get a chocolate every time I came back home? No. Did they manipulate me? Yes. Was it wrong? No. So there are certain things that certain people do to certain people to get certain results, which they actually do not mean. And it does not make them wrong. They were just helping me take a decision to go to school.
Very
And
true.
you are making the other person take the right decision. If you are confident in your product, I am not selling bloody weed. I'm not selling any powder. I'm not selling anything wrong. I'm selling a good product. I'm giving them valuable knowledge. Then why should I be scared? Or
Right.
why should I feel that I am manipulating them? I am inspiring them. I'm motivating them. And if you call it manipulation, go call it manipulation. I don't care. As far as they are taking the right decision, I am giving them the right product and everything is okay, it's okay.
Well said. And also, just to add to that, I think a lot of people also lie to themselves in a lot. They're stuck in this victim mentality where they're just waiting for someone or the right person in the right time to, knock some sense into them, like that, maybe that chocolate that you talked about earlier. There is a intention that's good, but then because the world around them has actually been manipulating them or influencing them in other directions, like the powder and the weed, like maybe you say, they're stuck in those kind of buckets or buckets of crap, and coming and hearing certain truths or certain ways that are alternate to that might make them skeptical and close down as well. So what do you feel is the line that we draw between convincing them and influencing them? Like there is definitely a line over there, right? So how hard should someone push or pull before giving up on somebody?
That's a very interesting question, Om, and I don't know whether a lot of people understood what you are asking, but let me put it in a different frame. I would like to quote Tony Robbins here. So when I was in US, Tony was saying this, that initially, because he's a big motivator, he's a big guy and a lot of energy, and he'll pump a other person up and make him do whatever he wants, kind.
Yeah.
So Tony was saying that I used to do that for a very long time, but later when I went back to my students who had bought my products, I saw that change that happened in them was not permanent. It got reversed after some time. Like people who had gave up smoking again started smoking and doing stuff. So he went into deep analysis that why this happened. And what he found was, if you decide somebody's destiny, there is always going to be friction. So what is the point till what do you push is you take them to the door, but you don't walk them through. They should decide they want to go through. You do not decide for them. So that is a very critical point where you take your client or your lead up to and then leave him there and then just shut your mouth and then let the process happen. Because if you have decided for him, he is going to protest. Later he'll come for a refund, or then it might just not land the result that you want them to. So that is the critical point there where you need to know. You just need to stop outside the door.
Right. Let them figure out, let them have that conversation in their mind, weigh the pros and cons, bring all the conversation that's happened in their past. Because again, if you force them, then they're going to get what we call buyer's remorse, right? Where they'll say, oh, you made me do it.
True.
But if they have sort of made a very good decision on their own and they trust that, the benefits, like you said, it's going to help them. You said they're with the right person who, maybe they've been looking for a long time and have finally found. And then it's the urgency is now, but then that fear of will it work for me is what usually is the whole premise, right? Will it work for me? That fear
and
of
how
success.
do you judge that aapne bola isliye kar raha hu? Like,
Great. This is really some good insights. Thank you so much, Sandeep. So let's pivot into, systems, because one person as such can really make an impact, right? But, there comes a point when you can't be at every place at the same time. And only one person can take it to a certain level, considering the audiences that you're serving. And I mean, if you're serving a mass audience, you can't be selling to everyone at the same time, unless you're doing TV commercials or those kind of things, or low ticket items where people will just pick up like that. But as you grow, obviously there are systems that you've had to implement to save you time and work on things which are also important. So talk to me about that. How is Digital Azadi really, from the time when you did your first webinar, right? And then moving it to the next stage, and then the next stage, and the next stage. I'd really love to hear how it all evolved.
so nice question, Om. To give you a timeline and like the flow of how things happen, you always start solo. in any business or any gig that you're doing, you always start solo because you are the only one with that conviction that this will work. And then you start creating and then you start selling. Same thing happened with me. I was doing my webinars online, live, alone, solo. I would only sell after the webinar. I would give them accesses. I would make my reports. I would do everything that needs to be done. And there were very long nights which would keep me up, and there were a lot of fatigue that was coming up. Stage 2 was developing a smaller team, like support staff to take care of, the regulars and the operations basically. And then we started scaling a bit. Then we were doing more frequent webinars. We started pumping in more money in the ads, more leads coming in. Everything started scaling to a point where as a salesperson, I was getting fatigued. That every day, if you get up and start speaking for 3 hours to a camera, after a point, it becomes too monotonous, and then you start losing that energy, zest, and that flavor in it. So that is where systems came in place. The very first system I got into was an automated webinar, where people just see your video. You also recorded it in a way that nobody can make out whether it's a live or a recorded. That is 99% of the industry works that way because you're selling a very small product, like not even $50 product. Hardly 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 rupee product. That
Right.
under $100 you can do this. Then you do understand that a lot of customers have bought your first product and now want more from you. Then you want to get into high ticket. You also want more money, lesser effort. So more intelligent products you start making. But selling those products, again, like you said, it's not an automatic machine where, people are just picking it up one to many style. That is where you want to give your time, do your one-on-ones, close them in a Zoom call or a Google Meet or stuff. And these are products ranging from 30,000 to 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs maybe, depending on what you're giving. Now, in that also, after a point of time, you get a fatigue. Like, how many times are you going to do that same sales script? And there is where you need a team.
Right.
Not the operations team. This is where you need the sales team to come in. So fortunately for me, you landed up like an angel and you guys really helped us scale. So hats off to you guys. I still remember the initial discussion when I had come to you guys, this is that, and you were like, kya? 1900 rupee product, hut, we are not going to do. And Hindi, bullshit. Look, bhai, listen to me. This is a new market. It's upcoming. I want to grow and help me out. And then I think Aniket and you very graciously thought, okay, let's see, let's do. And then we went a long way, almost 2.5 years. You guys were like taking care of all my high ticket closings. So all these systems, if they are not there, you are going to fail. Because like Sid says, my mentor says, systems will work, people will fail. So you need to develop those systems one at a time. Later, we also realized that in our automated webinars also, we were wasting a lot of leads. So with exclusive closers, we set up a lot of systems where, we were rewashing those leads. We were calling them up. We were converting. A lot of money was being left on the table just because of failed payments. Somebody clicked, didn't go through. Baad mein karte hain, chhod diya. No follow-up, no money coming in. So all these small tweaks and small systems, I think made my sales purely 2x. All these small systems, we straight went double on this. And then when we added more products, what all could I sell? I'm selling my small product also, mid product also, large product also, high value consulting also. So as a trainer, as a coach, you cannot do everything alone. You need people, and you need people with character. Very important. You need people who believe in you, trust in you, understand you, and people who have character. Because not that I'm against salesy guys, but in sales, people often lose their character very fast.
That's true.
So
That's true.
that integrity be there.
Thank you. I think, the one thing is that you do a one-to-many format for those of you are not aware. So Sandeep gets on the platform, he speaks to them, and then there are people who do convert on that webinar a certain percentage. And then there are people who are in this, I need to think about it stage, or maybe they'll do it later, or maybe they were just browsing. So being able to take those leads, which was, kind of like mining for gold, is something that, we were able to bring up and improve and increase. So that again is another revenue stream. And then obviously once your customers from the level 1 go to level 2, there you are training them again and nurturing them and helping them get results. So I think the moving them up is about the kind of results which you are able to generate as a coach. And then the salesperson or the closer just comes in and kind of says, hey, you've been getting some great results. Why not make it better? Why not scale from here? right? And again, that's a level of service which can come with maybe a more one-to-one, rather than you coming in terms of your authority, you're speaking to everybody, but as a salesperson, to be able to go there, or a closer, being able to connect with them on a personal level has really helped and impacted, right? And I do know that you've also have facilitators as well now in the process, right? So rather than seeing them as salespeople, right, they're being seen as facilitators. So tell me, like, how has that mind shift in that sense helped your students?
That's a nice question. What I realized after a certain point of time is when somebody suddenly starts speaking to my students and starts saying that, there's this product, this consulting, this high ticket thing, why don't you come up and, try this? It's going to help you in this and that way. Anybody would feel that it's just a sales guy coming in. Whereas my attitude is selling is serving. So you don't start selling when you want to sell. You first start serving. So my whole team of my salespeople that I created, I converted them into facilitators. So they are not my salespeople, they are my facilitators. Everyone who buys a small product, my level 1 comes in. My facilitators will help them learn, implement, solve their issues, get talking to them, guide them to do better. And then when they want higher knowledge and when they see there is a natural progression that is going to happen, they facilitate the sale. So they are not actually implementing the sale or like pushing the sale in. They're actually facilitating that guy towards the path.
That door you're talking about,
Yeah.
right?
It's worked in a good way with me because my sales team also feels a lot of gratitude that they receive from them. And it's like a pipeline. At the onset, it does take some time to set it up. But once it goes on, then there are new people coming in, older people getting value, people converting. So it's like a whole pipeline that has got now set. So the system is working smooth and beautiful.
Fantastic. That's great. So coming to, obviously everyone, when you're selling, you have your highs and lows, right? And there are unexpected setbacks. There are things which will happen that might, throw you off course or whatever it might be, And I'm sure, how long has Digital Azadi been around? Since 2020.
Almost
you
5
said,
years,
right?
yeah.
Wow, 5 years, right? So I'm sure in these 5 years, there must have been a few setbacks that maybe had you thinking, am I on the right path? Or maybe, I need to re-look at my strategy. Like, could you share some of those setbacks or maybe you're still struggling with?
See, everybody will have fears and they will show up at some point of time. Nobody is like a born creator or a born teacher. We are all seeking our path. We are all creating something, some products, some services. We are trying it out in the market. Not that our intention is bad, but we are not masters at everything that we do. And when failure comes, when you don't get your expected results, you do rethink. You do reevaluate. You still go back to your matrices, as we call it. You still go to the drafting board and still see what can be done. Why is it not working out? Because whenever you are doing something, you always want the best results. You think this is a kick-ass product. If I put it in front of anyone, everybody should start dancing on it, just start buying and enjoying it. But that does not happen in the real life. Everybody has different priorities and everybody is in a different state of mind. So when there are zero sales in some webinars, even now I get a zero sales webinar where I'm talking for 3 hours, I'm explaining people stuff and nobody wants to buy. And there may be so many reasons for it. Maybe I am not in the right energy at that point of time. I'm not able to convince them. I am not in the right mood. They are not in the right mood. Maybe there's a cricket match going on and everybody's watching a cricket match talking to me as well. So there are so many factors that come in. But one thing I've always realized is you should always have your value system checked. And you should always journal why you are doing what you are doing. Like what made you start? What was the mindset when you started? Also, what was the kind of money and exposure that you had when you started? And then you still kept going on to reach here. And today, if you are having doubts, just take that document out and read it twice. So it kind of grounds you, gives you your purpose back, gives you your energy back, because there is loss of energy at times, which happens to everyone. Everybody goes through that. But important is how you get back.
Right. Exactly.
So what technique I use is I journal. So whenever I am at a high, like I have a fantastic sale month, week, webinar, I would journal what I felt and what ecstatic emotions I was going through at that point of time. I would document that and keep. And whenever I am low, I would tap into that energy. That helps me. If it helps audience, go for it, guys.
Thank you so much for that. Being able to be grateful for what the highs you've had in the past. Remember why you started in terms of your purpose. These are things which will help you get back and stay on track and remember why you're doing what you're doing. So that's
Yes.
absolutely fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. Because everyone will go through bad times. I mean, that's something inevitable. But how do you get back is the answer. And that's the advice from Sandeep Bhansali. Thank you so much. So, Sandeep, last point which I really want to cover. Obviously, you're doing something that's really unique in this country. And you have a really awesome mission, which is, to educate a lot of people on digital marketing. And I also know that, apart from digital marketing, you also have other plans in terms of health and maybe money. And you're building an ecosystem, a digital Azadi ecosystem, right? So, I mean, I'd love for you to share what's the vision, like, right? How do people start from? I think the beginning is Lokniti, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah. So how does give us a little bit of insight on what is the ecosystem like?
Basically, the bigger picture, Om, is everybody needs health, wealth, and relationship. Three basic requirements of everyone. Everybody today is online, everybody is digital, so you do not have an escape from that. So when I formed Digital Azadi, of course, digital came from digital marketing and being online. But the word Azadi is freedom, and freedom from what? So freedom from all your problems, all your limiting beliefs, all your fears. We need financial freedom, yes. We need freedom of movement so that we can go anywhere, freedom of geography, work from anywhere. Freedom of earning, we can earn as much as we want. Freedom of spending, you can spend and not think before spending, get into that time. Freedom of expression, because a lot of us are suffering just because we are holding our emotion back, and that's emotion, that's energy in motion, and when you keep it inside, it's going to hurt inside. It's going to destroy something inside. Maybe come out in a form of a cancer or a pimple maybe. But it is an emotion which is stuck inside. So when I formed Digital Azadi, I thought I want to create an ecosystem where all your problems get solved digitally. You don't need to come to me. We are online. We'll connect online. All knowledge, all support, all consulting, whatever needs to be done should be done online. So that was how we started. And the digital marketing ecosystem, we started with a very small product of 5,000 rupees called Lokniti. So all my products are like named a little mythological at times, but it means a lot. Lok Niti is people, Niti is way of life. So Lok Niti means this is that knowledge that everybody should have. This is a way of life you should live. That's basic of digital marketing. Then when you upgrade from there, we have Dhan Niti. So Dhan means money. Dhan Niti is how you earn money out of digital marketing knowledge. We have Vyapar Niti. So Vyapar is business. Then how do you implement all this in your business and grow it? And we also have Gyan Niti. So Gyan is knowledge. And how do you take your knowledge to people, create courses, the same stuff that I am doing.
Fantastic.
So this is my next level. And then there is one more level ahead where from Dhan Niti you get into Dhan Shastra, which is the money mindset game. So now that you started earning money, how do you attract more money? And how do you manage your money? Then Vyapar Niti will upgrade to Vyapar Shastra, where you're not just growing your business, you're getting it to an automation level where you're not involved in it. So doubling and you're free from operations. And then Gyan Niti will go to Gyan Shastra, where you're not just taking one piece of knowledge, but you're creating a whole ecosystem like what I have done and helping people out on a lot of different levels and a different funnels. So my names are a little mythological, but it's the way I think,
It's powerful. It's very powerful. I mean, just hearing them, I already feel like our listeners and us want to get into it and start to, implement.
Yes.
And I can see from whatever you told me, it's a lot of what you have also experienced, whatever you have done yourself. So it's sort of like, would you say is sort of like your way of building a legacy as well in some way?
Legacy is a very heavy word to be used at this point of time. I believe my legacy is my daughter, who I am eternally in love with. And if I can make her into a very good human being, that itself is great legacy that I leave behind. It's what I truly believe. Instead of saying, I want a trust in my name, I want a hospital in my name, I want a fund in my name, all that will happen. It's very important to install sanskars in your children. It's very important to actually work for the society, work for the people who are not able to stand up for themselves. And even if you do good to one person, it's okay, yaar. Like, it's sufficient. If somebody cries after you leave, it's sufficient. Like, apart from your blood relations and people you owe money to, if somebody else is crying, then it's you've done something good. So that is legacy. Where people miss you is legacy.
But you're leaving back. Obviously you've got tons and tons of years to go. But what I mean to say is, like, you're building something that is is going to stand the test of time and will continue way beyond, your lifetime and maybe, your daughter's lifetime. And, I think that is something which is benefiting and is a service to people, many, many, many thousands and thousands of people. So that's absolutely fantastic. And I think that vision of, like you said, we're doing it for others, rather not only for yourself but for others, it has a very powerful connotation. So that's something that's very magnanimous and very, I really love the value, the way that you share. It comes very openly and very powerfully. So tell me, like, one last question, one last section before we end the session. There are a lot of coaches out there, right, who are getting into this space, and they start making a little money and then they give up, right? And then there are coaches who maybe are doing this for a long time, and then they start to get into maybe the agency business, or they move into something else, right? So, I mean, for people who are listening here who are maybe getting into the coaching business, or people who are in the coaching business and are wondering what's next, right? How would you like kind of share what is your kind of, flow, or what has been your mantra of sorts in this whole, game that we are, or rather profession that you're in?
Om, to put it very bluntly and very truthfully, coaching business is not easy. Today, it is not easy. I am blessed that I started during COVID. I'm a COVID born coach. It was very easy at that point of time. Lead cost was 3 rupees at that point of time. It was easy to get people into rooms to sell to them because these concepts were very new. Now the market is saturated. People understand what webinars are, what you're going to do, the whole funnel system and stuff. So it's not a piece of cake now. It was easy money up to a point of time. But now, if you're a new coach, please be ready to burn your hands, fingers, head, eyes, ears. Everything is going to get burned. You're going to lose a lot of money learning all of this because there is no one structure that you can follow. So I'm not trying to scare anyone, but I'm trying to say is that please come with a real intention. Because 99% people, whoever is saying whatever figures online, earned so many crores, so many millions, it's all fugazi, it's all fake. Maybe they create that much of revenue, but that's not profit. So if you're making 10 crores and you are spending 9 crores 70 lakhs और घर पे से 20-30 लाख रुपया ले जा रहा है, तो उतना तो आज अच्छा ओला ड्राइवर भी कर लेता है.
Correct.
So there's no like bigger numbers are there, but profits are very limited. What matters is your core intention. If your intention is pure and if you have intensity in it, you are going to survive. And people who survive, say for at least, I say 1000 days, you should at least be into it for 3 years, because it is not going to happen in 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. You at least need to give it 1000 days, 3 years. And if 3 years you stand, then you can rely on it and you can build it as a serious business. Again, taking the right decision at the right time, investing in the right people at the right time, going full in, like not holding back. You make a little money and you want to do all ghar kharido, gaadi kharido, udao, foreign trips karo. It's not going to work. It's a serious business today. If you look at it like a business and develop it like a business, it is beautiful. It has money, it has glamour, it has gratitude, it has vanity. What more do you want? It has freedom actually to work from anywhere. So I will say 3 years is what every new coach should give himself or herself to try things out with a good intention. Then use your common sense. If you are giving 3 years and say if you are going to burn 50,000 or 1 lakh rupees a month, तो एक 10-20 लाख रुपया होगा तो उतरना चाहिए. Not everyone can create millions and crores out of zero. कुछ लोगों का होता है who have the core skill or the communication, that level they do, but एक average, even if you're opening a shop, won't you require a deposit?
Yeah.
You require to do some interiors, decoration and build up stocks and do some advertisement marketing. Small business also requires 20, 30, 50 lakh rupees of an investment.
Right.
So what I say is 30 lakh rupees लेकर बैठो, 3 साल लेकर बैठो. And then systematically build products, do marketing, do advertising, do sales, and look at it like a proper business. Only then you can develop this.
That's fantastic. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people come into it as teachers, but then they end up realizing, oh, I've got to do marketing, I've got to do sales, I've got to do, content creation, I've got to shoot videos, I've become an editor, so then it becomes sort of like overwhelming. But like you said, start off understanding it, get the right people in the right place so that you can start to pay them and leverage your time, and then be able to be in it for the long haul, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 1,000 days minimum is what you should be looking at, because then you know what's working, what's not working, and then use your common sense to take it to the next level and where you think it can go.
It can go places. See, one thing I know, if I speak about scope of industry, I don't think my daughter is going to go to any university after 5 years once she's done with her 12th.
Mm.
Maybe IIT, IIMs, yes, but we are not going to send them to any foreign university. And Trump uncle is already saying that, I'm not going to give visas. That's like a big boon in disguise. I don't want people to go there. Let's learn online. Best of the teachers, best of the mentors are available. And online education is not going to die. We are just getting started. So I believe that up to primary and secondary education, physical offline institutes will run. After secondary education, everything will move online. The way AI is coming up, it's crazy. And once artificial general intelligence, AGI, starts coming in, it will change the face of everything. So everything is going to be online, everything is going to be digital. The scope is never going to end. Everybody who takes birth needs to upgrade his software. There needs to be a certain knowledge transfer. And if you have the knowledge, you can transfer it, you can make money, you can work from anywhere, don't need to face pollution, don't need to face traffic. So it is going to go on for a very big time. But before bigger players come in,
Right.
it's a $1 billion industry. You cannot not expect Ambani's, Adani's, Tata's, Birla's, and foreign investments to come in. Already there are bigger organizations creating content at mass level, trying to come in a big way.
Right.
So they will come in a big way. Before that, establish your island. Create your island, create your nice economy, create a good ecosystem where you're doing something substantial and you can sustain it for a very long time. It's not temporary, it's not going to evaporate, but you need to ground yourself very strongly to stand up.
That's, I think the whole point right now is stay the long game, find your space, create your island, and keep going. Thank you so much, Sandeep. It's been absolutely a very, very, very awesome time and a pleasure speaking to you. And you've shared such amazing nuggets, and it was just brilliant by itself. So I do really, really appreciate you for coming on this show, The Killer Sales Engine. I'm so kind of blessed, to have you on my show. I'm honored and looking forward to speaking to you again down the line as we evolve this platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Om. I know you asked me to keep it short, but this is the shortest I can get.
That's
I'm a long
absolutely
form guy.
entertaining. I hope you guys can leave in the comments saying how entertaining or engaging if you've gotten this far. It would really help us. And of course, do subscribe and share this with your friends and family for those who are looking to get into the coaching space, or those who are looking to improve on their sales, or just want to basically share and go out there for a cause. This is the episode that you really want to catch. Thank you so much, Sandeep. You have a fantastic day. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you, Om.